Okay, so you may have seen the drop servicing challenge I attempted a few videos ago with the ultimate goal of achieving $1,000 in profit. If you're not aware of what drop servicing actually is, don't worry, you're not alone. It's a brand new business model which has been trending in the YouTube space lately, so let me explain how it works. It's basically like dropshipping, where you build a store, but in this case a sales funnel, and sell products on the store. When a customer places an order on your store, you place an order for the exact same product from a manufacturer, and you ship that product straight from the manufacturer to the customer, meaning you don't have to deal with the product or even see it. But the difference between dropshipping and drop servicing is instead of selling a product, you're selling a service. Get it? Drop servicing?
Wow.
The name's pure genius, really. Anyway, once you build a sales funnel around a certain service, which you will likely find from fiverr.com, you run Google ads to drive traffic to this funnel in hopes of capturing a sale. If you do manage to make a sale, you take the money that the customer paid you, and you pay the Fiverr seller to complete the service for a lower price, meaning that the difference between what the customer paid you and what you paid the Fiverr seller to actually fulfill the order is pure profit in your pocket. For example, if you're selling a web design service for $500 and a Fiverr seller charges you $150 for the exact same service, it means that once you get an order, you can take that $500 from the customer, give $150 of that money to the Fiverr seller, where they will actually fulfill the service that the customer ordered, meaning that after you pay the seller, you can just sit back, relax, dig into a nice pack of D's nuts, dill pickle, flavored gourmet peanuts, and be left with $350 in profit per sale. It really is the dream life. And yes, while that does sound absolutely lovely, it's unfortunately not as easy as it sounds. In my case, the service that I tried to sell in my drop servicing challenge was a mock-up bundle targeted at people who sell courses. If you've ever seen a course online which has pictures of the program on a book, iPad, and everything like that, my service was digitally placing your design onto these items to make your sales funnel look professional. This is obviously a service targeted to a very small group of people, and thinking about it now, it definitely wasn't a smart idea to sell something that was so specific. So right from the get-go, that was one of the huge mistakes that I made. If you're new to the channel or family from the challenge, my name is Baxter and I'm actually a professional dropshipper. I've been dropshipping for over 2.5 years now, and it's the reason I've been able to generate a full-time income completely from my laptop. Like most others in the space who tried out drop servicing, this was my first attempt at the business. And yes, while the business model is definitely on the same wavelength as dropshipping, actually executing the two businesses is very different. And I was very wrong in the fact that I thought after 2 years of dropshipping, I'd be able to walk into drop servicing and pick up the business on my first attempt, which was clearly wrong. I found that after doing this challenge, there were a lot of aspects about drop servicing that I completely did not expect. And even though I did a lot of research before starting the challenge, most of the info available online about drop servicing isn't very credible. After trying out drop servicing for myself, I realized that there was a lot that made this business model much more complicated than it seems. Now don't get me wrong here, you can 100% make really good money with drop servicing, and I am definitely not trying to preach against it. I think it's a really cool concept and there's definitely some great YouTubers dropping a lot of value about it. The reason I'm making this video today is to touch on the aspects about drop servicing which aren't really talked about too often, and I'm trying to provide some insight into what I learned from trying it out myself. Now if you haven't already guessed, the $0 to $1,000 challenge was not a success, but it was actually a really great learning experience and I wouldn't change a thing. I find that trying something out and failing at it is actually very valuable because that's where the learning comes from. If you get stuck up about failing, you're going to get demotivated and not going to want to try it again. But if you can take the failures as a learning experience, you're just going to do better next time. So that's the way I'm looking at drop servicing. Now, I've listed down exactly what I learned and I'm going to be sharing all those within this video. I'll also be sharing what I learned from getting in contact with a person who is actually successful at drop servicing. And I'll be dropping some of those Ty Lopez approved golden knowledge nuggets that the successful drop servicer shared with me. So without further ado, here's what happened with the challenge and why it didn't work out like I planned it to. Flies. Welcome to Australia. For starters, drop servicing is not what it seems. In theory, the idea of getting a service, marking the price up by a significant amount, and then leaving you with a nice fat profit margin is a great idea, because that allows you to spend much more on marketing to make a sale, and leaves you with more money in your pocket at the end of the day. But when you actually list a service for an extremely high price, you're shrinking the market of potential customers by a lot, as most of the people looking for this service will be searching for the cheapest option, as we all tend to do. When a customer searches web design on Google, they are greeted with so many options. A lot of of which will be much cheaper than what you're offering on your drop servicing website, which right off the bat makes getting a sale so much harder. The funny part is that a lot of the time when a customer searches up a specific service, Fiverr actually pops up as a sponsored ad, where the customer can buy straight from the seller without our markup. That's like if you were dropshipping and a customer searched up your product and got greeted with an AliExpress ad. That is not what you want at all. The next thing which was a surprise was when I actually looked into the fulfillment process. If you think about it, when a customer places an order, you'll need to communicate back and forth between the customer and the seller constantly, as you are selling a service and these are almost always personalized to the customer, meaning that if you're selling a web development service, the customer's obviously going to have to give you a brief of what they want. And with a service as serious as this, the brief needs to be followed perfectly. There is not a single doubt in my mind that when communicating back and forth between the seller and the customer, some information will be misinterpreted and some will get lost. And then when the order gets fulfilled and the customer receives something that they didn't actually want, they are obviously not going to be happy and they're going to need revisions on the service, meaning you need to go through this entire process again until it's perfect. After dealing with unhappy customers from 2.5 years of dropshipping, I know how annoying this whole process can be. So when you're selling a high ticket service, which is hundreds of dollars, you're going to need to make sure your customer service and communication between the seller and the customer is on point, which is something that I didn't know about when I was researching drop servicing before I started the challenge. Without even fulfilling any drop servicing orders, I know how much of a hassle that whole process is going to be over and over again, and it's another reason why I'm an advocate of drop shipping over drop servicing, because while you do need to deal with customer service, it's not to this extent. When you're drop shipping a product, the customer knows exactly what they're getting, so the main thing you need to focus on is making sure the seller ships it in time. Whereas with drop servicing, there's briefs, there's personalization, and it just can get pretty jumbled up, which is obviously when it gets very messy and very annoying. Another issue which is present when selling high valued services such as these is refunds. Refunds can occur on a much higher volume if you're selling something that needs to be custom made. For example, a website design service. Because you're paying a Fiverr seller to deliver the service and you're not doing it yourself, you have less control over quality, which can lead to the Fiverr seller delivering a product back to the customer which is subpar. In the case that this happens and the customer demands a refund from you, you are severely out of pocket. If we go back to the last example of web design, where we're selling the service for $500 and it costs $150 to get it from the Fiverr seller, we are $650 out of pocket if the customer requests a refund. And that's not even including what we spent on marketing to make that sale. This is because you need to pay back the customer the $500 that they paid you, and you still need to pay the Fiverr seller $150 because regardless, they still did the work and you need to pay them for their time. If you have a low budget and something like this happens to you, it can be extremely destructive. And that's another reason why I wouldn't recommend drop servicing if your budget is extremely low. If it were me, I would stick to something like dropshipping with Instagram influencers to minimize costs in the beginning. If you're watching this video and you do have a really low budget, you can check out the second video on my channel, which is how to make $100 a day as a broke teenager. It goes over a few strategies, including the Instagram influencer one, so if you haven't seen that yet, definitely check it out. Anyway, the whole idea of logistics and refunds in drop servicing was a really big turning point for me. However, I actually got in contact with someone who is successful at drop servicing, and here's what he had to say about the business. Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
So I heard that you were successful at drop servicing, man. Tell me a little bit about how you're doing that.
Yeah, so was really interested in it when I initially saw your video, and I knew I just didn't have the capital to start immediately.
Yeah.
I had an Upwork account already to start a web design agency on there.
So you're using Upwork to find clients, acting as the freelancer, and then you're outsourcing your own work?
Yeah. So Upwork has either like agency or freelancers. So acting as a freelancer and sort of doing your own drop servicing is far more profitable.
It's almost like you're acting as a Fiverr seller, except you're doing it on a much higher ticket platform like Upwork, and then outsourcing your own work from Upwork.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So for example, if you were charging $300 and someone paid you that for your service, you would go and outsource that for say $150, and then you'd take home the $150 profit.
That would be a pretty accurate project, like 300, but I wouldn't be paying $150. I would pay about 85 out.
Yep, right, cool. Yo, that sounds awesome, man. I'm glad you're doing well with it. And you said it's growing every month?
Yeah, so far it's been going really, really well. Upwork has so many ready clients, so it's been working out well. It's been snowballing for 2 months now.
Yeah, well, this is something I haven't actually heard of before. I haven't heard of someone acting as the freelancer and outsourcing their own work. So that is super interesting. I appreciate you sharing that with me, man.
Of course, man. No problem at all.
Well, I'll chat to you soon, brother.
Of course. Have a good one.
I hope you guys could take a bit of value from what Gareth had to say, and if you were a bit confused, he basically acts as a freelancer on Upwork, which is a much more higher ticket platform than Fiverr. and outsources his own work when he gets an order. So for that reason, he doesn't pay for marketing costs, he gets all his clients organically from Upwork, which is awesome. To me, drop servicing is still a great business opportunity. Although it didn't go to plan on my first attempt, I am in no way opposed to trying this again, but this time doing more research to make sure that the service I'm selling is in demand. If that's something you guys want to actually see, me trying this again with a better service, drop a like or comment down below so I know. In terms of the biggest mistake I made in the challenge, it was choosing a service which was much too specific. Because it was such a niche service, there wasn't a huge market for it, and it wasn't something that could be valued super high. It was just a digital mock-up and not something that people would pay a lot of money for. I wish I realized that sooner, but oh well. This was without a doubt my biggest fault, as similarly to dropshipping, the product, or in this case service, is everything. It is by far the most important piece of the puzzle. If it's a good service, it'll sell, but if it's not something that's in demand in the market, no one's gonna buy it, regardless of how well you do your marketing. I know that hearing this failure of a drop servicing story is a lot more boring than the other ones on YouTube, because most of those end with what we all love, a photoshopped picture of profits, and of course, our favorite, the rented Lamborghini.
New Lamborghini.
Unfortunately, I couldn't pull through and get one of those, but it's okay. Press F to pay respects for me. I'll get one next time. But in all seriousness, I really did want to be transparent with you guys. I know that in this industry, there's not a lot of honesty and a lot of bullshit, so I'm trying my best to say no to any of that and just be fully transparent with you guys. So I hope you're enjoying that. I hope that after everything's said and done, this video was still valuable to you. And I'm not gonna lie, it has been a tough video to make when I'm not overly happy with the outcome. And I really do wish I could have profited from this. But it being my first try and me being ignorant enough to think I could do this business on the first go, we did not unfortunately come out with the dub, but it's okay. Like I said earlier though, you learn much more from the mistakes than you do from the wins. So we take it head on and try again. By the way guys, I just ordered 2 mystery boxes on eBay. I'm gonna try and sell the items that I get inside of those boxes and see if we can make a profit by doing that. So that should be a pretty interesting video. I'm keen to see how that plays out. For now though, that's all from me. But I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Hello, God of Fake Gurus here. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Before you go though, Baxter was wondering if you could like the video and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to turn notifications on. Now, time to go ride in my rented Lamborghini. Bye!